Well, I'm back here out at the winery. Got my skid steer here, and guess what? It's broke down again. It's been down for 2 weeks now. Here's the problem. As you can see, I'm back here in the forest at the winery, working on those logs that I cut down in a previous video. So when I was driving back into the woods, I got hung up on a little tree. This is the tree. I had to cut it down just to get myself freed up. But when I got hung up on the tree, it got basically what happened was I took the turn too soon and got myself wrapped up on this tree, and it got caught between the right side drive motor here. This is a hydraulic drive motor. I'll talk about that here in a second. And between the tires, so it got wedged in between there. As you can see, it's only like 3 inches wide, and this stupid little tree is about 4 inches wide. So it was really wedged in there, with the tire having, putting a lot of pressure on it, and I couldn't get it loose. And in doing so, I got it hung up on this hydraulic line. Now this is the replacement that I'm currently working on, and I got a major hydraulic leak, and so lost all power. So this is the hydraulic motor. These machines are typically driven on hydraulics, which is fluid that goes through a pump, and it spins this drive motor, which turns a chain, which turns these two wheels, forward and backwards, and there's one just like this on the other side. Now, this typically has a cover on it, and I think in a video on the main channel you're going to see where I had to pull that off because there was already a hydraulic leak specifically on this hose that I just replaced. So in a way, this was a good thing because it forced me to have to replace that hose that was leaking already from the fitting. And I was just having to refill the hydraulic fluid all the time. So here I am, forced to replace this hose. Alright, so to continue the story, I went to remove this hose on the day it happened, and the fitting is this part right here, which connects to the motor here, and it was all corroded and rusted. This machine is like 24 years old, so it was probably, that fitting had never been touched in that time. So I couldn't spin the nut to get it loose. These nuts are supposed to spin independently, but the other one was rusted shut, and I had to literally cut the hose to get it so I can spin the whole thing out of the casing right here. You can see right here, there's a hole right here where my finger is, where the fitting has to go. And anyway, I had to cut that hose and remove the other side. I'll just go over here and check the other side. The pump, the hydraulic pump, is the main part which drives all things mechanical about this thing. The wheels on both sides, and like the loader, that's all comes from a hydraulic pump, which the engine turns. Okay, and this here is the hydraulic pump, and you see all these lines that come off of it. Well, this is the line that I had to remove so I can replace the whole line. Now, hydraulic lines are custom made things. It's not something where you go, I need a hydraulic line that is 4 foot wide, but because it's got to be a specific length, and it's got to have the right fittings, because you might have 2 different size fittings on each side and different angled fittings like you see here. This is a 45-degree fitting that comes off of the pump here and goes off that way. So I needed specifically that, which makes it a little expensive to replace a line. But anyway, I didn't have a wrench this size on me. So I had to estimate that, hey, well, first of all, this is a British machine. So is it metric or standard? I don't know. So I guessed it was a 26 millimeter wrench. Well, I didn't have a 26 millimeter and I had to drive all over town to find one 26 millimeter wrench. It took me like 5 stops to find it. And then I got back here. Keep in mind, every time I come out here, it cost me $25 in gas. So I would come out here after I found a wrench on one day. Well, first I needed a 25 millimeter and that didn't even fit. So like, well, it must be a 26 millimeter because that was one trip. So I went back and I found the 26 millimeter after driving all over town. And you know what? That was not the right wrench, but I was able to pound it on with a hammer just enough to get it loose. And finally got that loose and got the whole hose pulled out, and I had to take that hose to a hydraulics line place and get that custom remade. Well, great. Found out that the line was actually standard, so I needed a 1 1/16 inch wrench, which I was able to go buy at a store at Lowe's, and I brought that whole thing back and got the pump side on, and this is what you see here. However, the fitting on this end, they gave me a 90-degree fitting, which is actually like this, but I couldn't screw it into the case, the motor, where the hole that I showed you. I couldn't screw it in because I didn't have the clearance to get a full turn on that 90-degree fitting. It's getting long, isn't it? Sorry. So I can only get like a half turn, and that just isn't good enough. So I went back to, okay, that was another trip. So remember, $25 every trip. So this is probably my 4th trip out here just to fix this. And keep in mind, when I realize I don't have the part I need or the wrench that I need, I'm out here for 5 or 10 minutes tops, you know, before I'm turning around, you know, spending that $25 a trip. So now I got a 2-piece fitting, which includes the 90-degree fitting, and well, this piece right here comes apart from this piece, the 90-degree, and that way I can put this piece in directly into this hydraulic motor, and then screw on the 90, because this nut turns independently of the actual fitting, and then this is where the hose connects. And I've got my 1 1/16 inch wrench, and I got my 7/8 inch wrench. So this should be all I need to do to get this thing back running again. Plus I got to refill it with hydraulic fluid. Funnily enough, this does not take hydraulic fluid, it takes motor oil. So anyway, I'm going to do that right now. And sorry for going 8.5 minutes into this explanation, but that's the story. And it's been 2 weeks of just aggravating money spending just to get this thing running. So hopefully I'll get this thing running, and I'll get some of these logs down to the mill and actually do some milling today. All right, and there it is. Should be good. I'm going to fill it up now and turn it on, let it run, see if there's any leaks. I just need to, if there are, I just need to tighten it up a little bit. But I think I got it on there pretty tight. Not sure if there's an actual torque requirement. Torque meaning how tight something should be tightened down. But just gonna check it out. Well, I had about 4 gallons of oil with me. It's not quite enough, so and I could run it and test it right now with what's in there, but I figure I'll just head to town and get a couple more gallons of oil. So yeah, a little disappointed about that, but yeah, what's some more miles? All right, 30 miles and 50 bucks later, I'm back. Should be enough. Well, I'm about 8 or 9 gallons of oil into this thing, and it's still low. There's a little window right here, which should show that enough oil is in it. We're still below that window level, but I can see the oil in here, and it's probably just, man, I don't want to say it's a gallon or 2 gallons low, but there's probably enough in there that I'm going to go ahead and fire it up and check for leaks. So let's. All right. So obviously the seat goes here. Let's go ahead and fire it up. No apparent drips coming from there. That's looking good so far too. We're gonna let that run for a minute and come back and see. So I'm 100% satisfied. The hydraulic situation is fixed, even though the hydraulic reservoir is a little low. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull some of these logs out and get them up to the mill, and it should be fine. Next time I come up, I'm gonna have to buy some more oil. Chain hooked, I'm gonna take it out that way. Alright, now this is the tree you might recall had the issue where it tipped back and it pinched my saw blade, and I had to get the tractor out here in the first place and pull it back the other way and make it fall down the other way, the way I intended it to. So we're going to take care of these today and call it a day, head back home. Still have this one oak tree down. That's going to definitely wait till another day. So feels good. You got those, I think there was 4 pines I knocked down. I think we got 8 logs out of it. So with the oak tree, that'll be probably 10 logs. But the oak planks go to the guy who owns this place. He's working on a fence for his horses. So that's the least I can do, since he's given me all the other pine trees I can take. All right, get my other chain. All right, so this is a number 23 from the plans for my building. Number 23 we see is a, actually I wanted that to be 22. So 23 needs to be 5.5 by 7.5 and 12 foot 7 3/4. And the purlin also needs to be 5.5 by 7.5 at 11 foot 2 1/4. So a floor joist is here, which is what I just marked, but I kind of wanted it to be a purlin. I need 24 purlins, so I need to go ahead and recheck the length from which I just cut off, see if it's long enough to be a floor joist. All right, it is 12 foot 8. I need to go longer than 7 1/4, which is here, so I can make it square. And it's just a little, I don't know, doesn't give me enough room to square it off. Let me see here. You know what? It might be all right. If this is the absolute shortest piece of this end, I want to square it off. You see, this is definitely not square, so I want to square it off. And that gives me 12 foot 8 1/4. It gives me 1 inch to spare. It's gonna be very tight, but I think it'll be all right to call this a floor joist. Pretty sure I can get it square enough on the ends with 1 inch to spare from both sides. Here's a real nice beam out of that first log, second log, but it's the base of the tree. Right here is where it pinched that chainsaw, but we're gonna get a floor joist out of this. One day we'll be standing on it. What do you think of that? Standing on the second floor on one of these beams. So if that's a floor joist, that one, and this one, that's two of the 24. Wow. All right, it's 24 and not 12 because we're doing a full floor. This plan calls for like a half floor with the open with an open opening to the bottom. So we are doing a full floor, so it's going to take 24, and we've got now 3 of the 24. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you are new to the channel and you want to get caught up to everything that's been going on out here at Shady Acres in just one video, then I suggest you start right here. And if you want to dive in from the beginning and see everything that we've ever done out here, then start right here, click it, and just let it play.